anyone remember Patrick Cruces from Dallas? Back in 2019, he drove from Dallas all the way to El Paso, Texas, because of racism. And he killed 23 people in Walmart. He actually drove 700 miles to kill people. And some people didn't believe that he would do that, but he did it anyway. He got 90 consecutive life sentences for killing 23 people. And as we look around the YouTube streets this evening, I have several questions. My first question is to the FBI and 2 local PD departments in Tennessee, and 1 PD office in North Carolina department, and the FBI there. Why are you not taking these threats against individuals' lives seriously? Why do we, as a public, have to sit back and watch our public servants? You choose to be a law enforcement officer. We choose, as citizens of a particular community, to support you and pay your wages. And yet, the FBI and the local PD in North Carolina and 2 PD stations in Tennessee have not done anything when people openly threaten other people on YouTube. And what is going on right now? It's like a little pimple that keeps on continually getting larger and larger. And there's so much mayhem and havoc. I believe the FBI and those 3 particular police departments are going to wait until children or an adult is murdered. And yes, I'm highly pissed off today, because within the last 48 hours, I've heard so many people threaten to hurt each other and kill each other. In the last 7 weeks, we have had one YouTuber's housemate or husband or mate or whatever you want to call him take a gun out and flash it around on YouTube, and the local PD up there in North Carolina hasn't done a damn thing about it. There are kids in that house. Last night, he went off and said that he wanted to kill Chris Proudfoot. Well, you know what? That is a 3rd life-threatening threat I know that Chris Proudfoot received. And no police department has done anything about that. Earlier this evening, I posted something of this effect. The FBI and 2 Tennessee police departments are waiting on Katie to pick out Chris's coffin. And they want them to go until death do them part. So yes, I'm angry at our law enforcement, because they don't even give a shit about those 2 kids in Brittany's house. If someone was drunk, or even if they were on substances and they were out front of their house and they were throwing around a gun, they would be arrested. But just because it's on YouTube, on a social media platform, they are allowed to do that. When is someone in law enforcement going to get some balls and move out and stop these threats, especially with children in the homes? The kids didn't ask for any of this. Can you imagine being in any home with any child, and you have to live like that day and night. Those are just the things we know that are live on YouTube. We don't know what else goes on. And then we have other YouTubers from up north who have threatened, like people like Justin. Well, I'm going to get a great big old truck and I'm going to run you over. I'm going to do you in. You know, Clutcher's Pearls. I don't even watch him, but I know that he was threatened. Okay? The threats need to stop, and law enforcement needs to do something about it. Especially if someone has a gun that they are threatening other people's lives when children are in the home. What type of example is that showing to children? What type of example are we putting out to society when we have YouTubers threatening a judge? Very wrong experiences for our children to be seeing. I don't know whether everyone just takes a threat like you say, well, I'm going to see you at the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. If that's a threat, just the words. They think that's more concerning than I'm going to shoot you and I have a gun and I'm coming after you. Which one's worse? Which example is worse to show to our children? But I tell you something, law enforcement, here's what I do know. I do know that a lot of people are watching what you're doing for the protection of all individuals involved in this situation. And if you're waiting to the very last moment for someone to end up in a coffin or someone to end up lame or for them to be on their last breath, believe me, all hell's going to break out because a lot of people are sick of this. Law enforcement should be protecting our children. Law enforcement needs to do more to see some of this threatening behavior on social media platforms. Because it's not just freedom of speech. Freedom of speech is not being able to threaten other people with a gun. Freedom of speech does not allow that. That is a threat. Freedom of speech is not threatening witnesses from court cases. All that is wrong, and something needs to be done about it. I'm sure that something will in the long run through the court systems. But in the meantime, law enforcement needs to think about the children. You take a good look at those live videos over the last 6 to 7 weeks. You take a look at every YouTube channel that's involved in this situation, and you're going to understand that the stimming methods reoccur over and over again. No one else is responsible for independent actions of one individual. But when things keep on going over and over again, it's not a mistake. You are deliberately doing certain things over and over again. Whether you're drunk, whether you're high, whether you're pissed off, it doesn't matter. You still should be held accountable for your actions. So I'm asking law enforcement to take in consideration the children involved in all of this. Even the downgrading of autistic children from some YouTubers. Because when they run down a group of autistic individuals that are protected by ADA, that is against the law. That is a form of emotional abuse. And I know of 4 kids right now on YouTube that are autistic, that have been humiliated, that they are frightened, and one child who's missing, who's been treated like shit by several YouTubers. And no one has done anything about that. Not CPS, not victim advocates from North Carolina, Tennessee, or New Jersey. It is time that our government society offices get off their asses and listen to what is being done. You don't need anyone to call in. All you have to do is get off your asses and listen to what's going on. And you think about the protection of those children that are on YouTube. And the FBI in Memphis and the TBI, the Texas Bureau of Investigation, and the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, you all need to take a good look at what is going on over there near Plano. Because At Night Media is doing a few negative things up there. But some things cannot be taken care of until after February. So, a lot of people are watching. They're watching law enforcement, they're watching YouTube, and they're watching X, or Twitter, whichever you want to call it. And they're watching what you're doing for the children. And they're watching what you're doing to protect those who are being threatened with a freaking gun or with physical harm. Get on the ball and do what you're being paid for. Have a nice evening.